Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. My name is Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. I love it when we have people jumping on like before I even get done with the intro. It's so awesome. I want to thank everybody here live who's already jumping on. This is Her Version. This platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Lori Saitz. Lori is a mentor and coach that has a relatable story of being fine, suffering through a death in the family, a death of a business, and then looking around, realizing that life is short. She took a leap and made some huge pivots in her life that taught her the importance of living up to the potential of your highest self. She considers herself a trailblazing leader in coaching individuals through transitional times where you are questioning your marriage, your career, or your overall life purpose. Welcome, Lori. What should be the first? Obviously, they can contact you, right? We're going to get to that.
Right.
But in general,
Yeah.
what's like the first few things that somebody should do? What should they be doing when they're starting to feel this lull?
The three steps actually tie right into my program, which is the framework of my program is called the trilogy for success. So those, yeah. So the three things are: first, find the gratitude. First step, the first pillar is gratitude. So where can you find gratitude? What can you be grateful for in your life? And there is always something you can find, no matter how tragic or desperate your situation appears. There's always a shred of gratitude in there somewhere. And again, I'm always telling people, if you can't find it, give me a call. I'll help you because I can find it. But look for the gratitude. And so this comes back to also, you are always going to find what you're looking for. We live in a society where people just tend to love to complain and criticize. And guess what shows up? More things to complain and criticize about.
100%.
If you can find more gratitude, then more things to be grateful for show up. You're going to find whatever you're looking for. So the first step is gratitude. Find the gratitude. The second one is connection. The second piece of my trilogy is connection. And again, that comes back to connection with others, as well as, and most importantly, the connection with yourself. How can you find a way to connect with yourself? And for some people, that might be boating or gardening, or, as we mentioned, meditation, cooking, prayer, whatever. How do you find a way to connect back to your inner truth? And
so it's connecting with yourself, not connecting with.
It's both.
Okay.
It's connections with others, because I feel like a lot of issues that we have in society comes from disconnect. People feel disconnected. They feel disconnected in every way. They feel disconnected from others. They are also disconnected from themselves. I think those two go very closely hand in hand, that when you are connected nicely with yourself, you have the ability to connect with others more. You're more trustworthy. You're more trusting of others and open to allowing them into your life. So it's all very interconnected. But most importantly is that connection to yourself.
Love it.
Yeah. And then the third step is courage. And, having the courage to do the thing that once you are connected to yourself, you know what you need to do.
Got it.
and then stepping into the courage to actually do it.
Oof, that just made my heart flutter. That was scary. But that's the feeling you get when you're making
Mhm.
changes.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's awesome. So that's the trilogy.
That's the trilogy for success.
Absolutely. What's the number one lesson you've learned from life?
Hard things aren't going to kill you. And that you can do them. I think, oh, gosh, so many lessons. You're asking me for one. Yeah, that you can do anything. You know, you've heard this before. You can do anything if you believe in yourself. But not exactly. You can do anything if you do believe in yourself. And I think that we have to expand that a little bit and have other people who also believe. And maybe that's a piece of what our ego needs. But having, again, the other people to support you and cheer you on or pick you up when you fall down. I don't think we can go through life. Yes, we need to have self-love and rely on that. And I'm not saying anything about that part, but we have to have those connections to others are so important because it's one makes life more fun, more
Mhm.
joyous.
Yeah.
Um, but I just feel like we need that support. You know, every time I hear somebody say that they were self-made, I think, No, you weren't. You weren't. In some way, other people contributed to you becoming who you are. Did you read a book? Did you listen to a podcast? Did you, have somebody hold your hand when you crossed the street when you were 5 years old? Like, nobody's completely self-made. You weren't raised by wolves. And even if you were, then the wolves helped you.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Wow. That's good. Yeah. Makes you look at it a lot differently for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was going to ask, when you're going through this this trilogy, these steps, do you often find that they re-spark their life and they actually don't need to make a whole lot of pivots?
It it has happened when you can find, a lot of people, again, they don't see the gratitude. They don't see the goodness because they're not
Yeah.
looking for it. They're stuck in that place where everything's not working. But once
Yeah.
they start to see what is working, then maybe then it's only small changes that need to be made, not major things like leaving your marriage and moving across the country.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I had a guest on my podcast who did that. She worked on her own stuff.
Yeah.
And see, this is the thing. When you change how you are showing up,
Yeah.
everything around you changes
Yeah.
and other people change in your perception of them. So she did all this work on herself, nothing with her husband. He didn't go to counseling. She did all the work, and their relationship completely transformed to be better than ever because she focused on changing who she was. I was going to say fixing, but there's nothing wrong with her. She was just upgrading who she was and how
Yeah.
she saw situations.
Yeah. I could totally see that because I think a lot of times for myself, there could be blame
Mhm.
of I'm feeling this way or I'm here because of blah, 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 whatever
Yeah.
I'm using. But if you are doing these things, if I'm looking for gratitude everywhere, if I'm connecting with myself and others, and then having courageous conversations with myself, let's say,
Mhm.
I could see that really sparking like a almost rebirthing another me that's like
Mhm.
maybe I appreciate a little bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely another version of yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And then you can kind of have a clear, I like that because then you can kind of have a clearer view on your life from a heightened level almost.
Yeah. Yeah. We can only change ourselves. We can want for other people to change, but we can't change them. We can only change ourselves. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and our own actions and our own development. That's all.
Yeah.
And if and situations you may do that and it requires you to step out and move on, or it changes how that person or that situation is looks to you and how they respond to you, and everything becomes great.
Yeah, definitely.
But it all comes down to that personal responsibility of we can only change ourselves.
Yeah, that's the thing is it always comes back to that. I want to take a second to just say hello to those that are listening live. We so appreciate you being here, hanging out with myself and Lori while she talks a little bit about her journey and her story and the things that she's doing in her world. So thank you for being here. If you've made it this far and you're watching us on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay so that we know that you were here and you were listening. I want to talk about limiting beliefs, but first, because we have so many people here watching, they're obviously resonating with you. I want you to talk about your business, what you do. We have your website above your face area. Can you tell us all the stuff?
Yeah, I work with people to really, in the most basic way of saying it, is taking your mind from chaos to groundedness, from chaos to peace. If you're tired of living in this constant voices going on in my head, I can't shut up the thoughts, and you would like peace of mind, that's what I help people with.
That's awesome. And who do you work with?
Typically, it's business professionals. And I would say at first I thought it was going to be women in their 40s and 50s, but it's also men.
Yeah.
And and it's not always, sometimes it is still a lot of people in their 40s and 50s in this place where they're in a time of transition. Kids are growing up and moving away, not needing you in the same way they did before. Parents are passing away. Relationships have, jobs, relationships, whatever it is, we've been in them for 20, 25 years at this point. You're kind of looking, going, again, is this serving me?
Yeah.
But or it's just, just living in the chaos of life of, okay, I need to slow down, reevaluate where I am. Is this where I want to be? And if it's not, how will I change? What do I prefer?
Yeah. I like how you're adding in children leaving. Because even with my son, he's 18, but the difference between 15 and 18 is like totally different. Now I have all this extra, I have so much more time on my hands, which is good. I'm building my business, but like for other people that maybe aren't, that go to a 9 to 5, they cook dinner. Dinner's now different.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're not even here.
Right.
And then there's this extra time that you're used to, like going to practice or soccer or quality time at the park or frisbee or games, whatever. And then they're just like not home. They're just gone.
Right. Right. So you had all of these things distracting you before.
Yes.
And now you're kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
what do I do?
What do
And
I
then that's
do?
when you start really reevaluating, is the way I've been living how I want to continue?
Yeah.
And again, not that there was anything wrong with how you work. But, people talk about this midlife crisis, which I really detest that term. It's not a crisis. It's a reevaluation.
Ooh, I love that. Yes. Yeah, we label it as something bad.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like you've been around for 40 or 50 years. You got to freaking reevaluate.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Girl,
who knows?
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows how many more you have, for one thing? Nobody knows. And what do you want to do going forward now? You may have been living on autopilot for a while. How could you be more intentional and bring yourself more joy?
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I will just mention real quick, I have a group program, an inaugural group program, because I've primarily been working with private clients, and it's starting May 10th. And I can say that because we're live. So yeah, so 10 people only, and I've already got 2 in there. So 8 people left. If you're interested,
Wait,
let me know.
but
Hit me
yeah,
up.
wait, but so what is it? Explain it.
So it's this whole trilogy for success
Okay.
that I take people through. The group program is this inaugural one is 8 weeks, and we go through all the trilogy for success. How do you bring more gratitude into you? How do you have more connection? How do you find the courage?
And then
But
how
it
many?
really is ultimately about finding peace
Okay.
and groundedness,
Is
moving
this
from
like
chaos to
a,
grounded.
a 5 week, 8 week? What kind
Eight
of
8 weeks.
8 weeks? And can they find it on your website?
Well, I will tell you, it is on the website, but it's not a page that you could get to from the front. So we could put it in the
In the
chat.
description.
But
Okay,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, make sure you do put it in the comments on all the things
okay,
so they can
yeah,
click on it if they want to. I want to talk about limiting beliefs. This is one of my favorite things to talk about because
okay,
not everybody knows about this. And, I found out about it, a decade ago or whatever. But I remember when I found out about it, I was like, oh my gosh. So I love hearing about just the crap that people carry around or like pretend or made up in their heads that was just so silly.
yeah.
I want to ask, what was one of your limiting beliefs that you care to share with us? And what do you believe now?
Yeah, one of my major limiting beliefs, and this is very common, so I don't feel like I was an outcast or something, but I don't know enough. I don't know enough. I don't know enough to teach other people. I don't know enough to be a coach. I don't know enough. Like I just don't know enough. So I have to keep learning, which is probably what fueled the whole keep more personal development because I don't know enough. I'm not like and that meshes into I'm not good enough. I don't know enough, so I'm not good enough. And so accepting that I do know enough, when you are in elementary school, for example, and you're in first grade, you're not looking at the 12th graders to learn from. They're way, way ahead of it. Like they're out of your league. They're not even in your awareness, really.
Yeah.
You're kind of looking at the second or third grader
Yeah.
as a model.
Yeah.
And it's the same way in life. Like you're looking at the people who are 1 or 2 or 3 steps ahead of you to learn from,
Yeah.
not the people who are, we're not going to, I don't know who, like Oprah, Ariana Huffington, like I'm not going to them to ask them to be my coach or my mentor, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I can admire for them, but they're so far ahead.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Perceptually. I mean, really, again, we're all human. So,
Yes.
um, but that whole idea of I don't know enough, the truth is I do know enough. I have had different experiences. I've still had experiences and I've had different ones that people can learn from and that
Definitely.
I can share and that I can turn around and hold somebody else's hand. This is funny because I always talk about how as a coach, I'm like the kind of person who I will hold your hand while I kick your ass. But
That's great. That's
but
great.
yeah, it turns out I do know enough.
Yeah. It's so good for me to hear that because I remember even being like 22, 23 when I was first wanting to get into health and fitness and thinking to myself, I just need like a little more training. I just need a, and now I'm just about to hit 40 and I'm still like, I still need just like a little more. It's like,
Right,
and then I'm
right.
talking to you, who's a little bit older than me and you're still, so it makes me feel good because it's like, we just got to get on with it.
Yes, exactly. We
It
just
never
get
goes
on with
away.
it. And, I got my personal training certification many years ago, and I didn't do anything with it in part because I was afraid that I didn't know enough. And oh my God, what if I hurt somebody?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
never actually worked as a personal trainer.
Nice. Wow. I Yeah, I never got through my NASM certificates. I did all the studying. I took like some other smaller, two like other smaller
Mhm.
ones that were kind of like no name. But then I switched before I got to nutrition. I switched to mental and emotional health and just went right into coaching. So yeah, that's funny. I would probably would have totally done the same thing as that.